Hello, I'm Zash, and welcome to the beginning of Kira Kira. This story focuses on a group of high school students who decide to form a punk rock band and go on tour. Romance and hijinks ensue. Now, this project is more collaborative than my usual Let's Dubs, so if you wish to join us up here on stage, feel free to leave a comment below or ask in my Discord channel. Now, the story, if you liked K-On!, you'll probably like this. It's a bit darker though, in some points, because life isn't always sunshines and lollipops. So, I have a question for you. Are you ready? Then they come out. They come out one after another into the spotlight. A man named Yagihara comes out first. His short orange hair is spiked up, and he has an old army coat over his skin. He runs lightly to the center of the stage and grabs the microphone.
Hey, what's up? We're Star Generation. We're playing second tonight.
There's a huge applause just for that. He's not saying much, but the crowd loves it. He must be popular, just like a celebrity. Toniya is standing next to Yagihara-san. He looks different. Maybe it's because he's not wearing glasses, or his hairstyle is different, or even because of the spotlight. He looks cool standing there with his guitar, waiting calmly for the music to start. They look impressive with all the cheering from the crowd, but they are still amateurs, and one of them goes to my school. There's no reason to be impressed. I just don't know the theater culture, so I'm a little shocked. But I know better now. I won't be surprised like last time. That's what I say to myself before they start the show.
To die.
But they do surprise me. I'm upset about that. I lean against the wall of the theater and feel my heart beating fast. It startles me. I can't tell if the music is great or the atmosphere of the crowd is too enthusiastic. But it is Star Generation on the stage that made all of this happen. I see them through the moving black silhouette of the crowd. The spotlight reflects on their sweat. I'm feeling disgusted at first. I don't like the high tension of the crowd, and the outlaw-looking fashion Yagihara-san is wearing, and the way they act offensively. But what's happening to me? I can't turn away from Yagihara-san's voice and the way he sings. I'm completely into the music by the second song, where Toniya has a guitar solo. I can't tell the difference between Toniya and the other guitar guy, Hoshino-san. I also like Charlie-san's bass, and the drummer Nobu. I don't feel repelled about the crowd focusing on the stage, dancing to the music anymore. I'm not trying to memorize them, but I already know the names of the band members. I'm not sure about what's good and bad music. But if they make me surprised, then it's my loss. I like living calmly and quietly, so I don't like being jolted or impressed by something. Oh no. Shikanosuke Maejima's lover called unexpectedly last night to break up with him. He spent the night laying awake, and in the morning, he received an email from her. Maybe this is the last time he'll ever see her. So, Maejima-san, who just can't give up on her, decides to come up with a plan to somehow turn the situation around. As the appointed time draws near, he waits quietly by himself while getting everything ready, trying to predict the outcome. Then, It begins. Maejima-san is wandering around the living room restlessly. He has dark circles under his eyes from lack of sleep. Today is a weekday, but it's winter break. The rest of his family is all out, so he's all alone at home. It's almost the end of the year, and perhaps their relationship is coming to an end as well. However, that's not what Maejima-san wants. Just a few minutes ago, there was another male. Since then, he can't even sit still. He looks at the clock frequently and bites his thumbnail. He tries to convince himself that God will help him if they're meant to be together. And he just does what he can. However, he can't shake the anxiety. He wishes she'd arrive soon, otherwise he will be exhausted by the time she gets here. Anyway, before she shows up, here's his plan. He thinks the reason she wants to break up is because he didn't tell her about quitting the club. He has no proof, but that's what he thinks. The club is how they met. His school competed with her school in a practice game, and he was one of the star players. Their relationship started when she confessed her feelings to him. He quit the club just a few days ago. He didn't mean to keep it a secret, but he just felt uncomfortable about telling her. However, he could tell she was getting suspicious because he was going home early lately. A secret can drive a wedge between people. He knew this all along. So, his plan is to tell her the truth sincerely. He just has to tell her the truth. Sorry for not telling you this until now. First, he should apologize meekly. Then, he should follow up with his sincere feelings. When she gets emotional and starts crying, that's the cue to ask for reconciliation. That's his plan. He has made her excited and made her cry before. He's confident he can carry out the plan calmly, even when she gets emotional. Things are easy when girls get emotionally moved. Not that he has much experience, but there's no doubt in his mind about that. Maejima-san desperately tries to convince himself. However, her voice on the phone last night sounded so serious. The tone of her voice told him that her mind was made up. She has her mind made up. Can he still change her mind even in this situation? It must be possible. Maejima-san is extremely confident. Or maybe he's just bluffing. His hands are shaking. He realizes it himself, but he's going to use that lack of sleep as his excuse. He can't control his emotions well, because he didn't sleep last night. But maybe that'll help him act boldly. Then there's a signal from the intercom. It's her. He mustn't act impatiently. He goes to the front door at a normal pace. When he opens the door, she steps in apprehensively. Come in. There's something I need to tell you. Maejima-san wears a nice smile, but is nervous on the inside. At this point, she might show reserve.
Okay, that's fine.
Something like that. When he was going over each step in his head earlier, there were so many questions at this point. If she doesn't answer clearly, then that means there is an opportunity, and he mustn't waste the chance. Maejima-san anxiously waits for her response.
Sure.
What? She accepts unexpectedly and steps into the house, but proceeds into the room casually. Maejima-san feels a little disappointed as he leads her to his room, but continues with his plan. He sits her down on the pillow and chats for a little while, then broaches the main subject. He tells her casually, yet sincerely, that he quit the tennis club. Then, it's time for her response.
Oh, really?
She's drinking the juice on the table without changing her manner. What? Maejima-san can't help but feel disturbed. If this was a manga, this would have been an extreme close-up scene. but she acts absolutely normal. She isn't even paying much attention to what he just said. What is going on? She doesn't show some kind of reaction, negative, positive, surprised, or some kind of emotional change. There's nothing he can do. And I'm only good at tennis. And besides, you told me that you liked me playing tennis. So, I don't know how to put this. This unexpected situation is making Maejima-san uncertain, but he tries to feel out her emotion.
What? Why? I don't care what club you're in.
She is showing her normal smile. Oh, okay. Well, then I didn't need to worry about that. Maejima-san can't hide his disturbance. He never even thought he'd get this reaction from her. According to the plan, she should have gotten a little emotional by now. Then he'd continue by talking about his feelings, even adding the memories to make her cry. But in this friendly situation, even emotional memories won't do anything. Even so, he gives it a shot.
Hey, do you remember when?
His fears were on the money. She is full of smiles, listening to her memories. If this is how things are going, then quitting the club had nothing to do with breaking up. It isn't even an issue. Maejima-san was completely wrong. Anyway, according to the plan, she is supposed to be at her emotional climax by now, and he's supposed to ask her bravely to stay with him. However, the plan has already collapsed. Saying something like that in this situation is absolutely out of place. It's obvious. Should he continue with the original plan? Maejima-san decides to go through with it, all the way. Charging full steam ahead is all that he can think of right now. How brave. Just like a Japanese army officer. Well, if you don't mind, would you still go out with me? Well, be my girlfriend again? He says it far from bravely. He doesn't sound anywhere near as calm and forceful as he planned. Maejima-san is obviously frightened. She thinks for a moment. She's taking rather long. Maybe that means...
Sorry, no, I don't think I can go out with you anymore.
Reality is hard. Maejima-san was expecting this response, but he still feels chills go down his spine when he hears her say it. So, this is what being dumped is like. However, because she has to think so long, he still believes there's a chance. She was too sweet to answer right away. That's it. She knew the answer right away. Of course. Stop. Don't even go any further. He ignores his better judgment, screaming at him, and asks one more time. Her reaction is different this time. She answers without delay.
Sorry, no matter what we do, I don't think we're meant for each other. I don't know exactly, but I think the little things add up, and that's what made me feel that way. Our personalities and other stuff, I just think it's not gonna work.
Those are some fatal words. Little things add up. Not going to work. Those are especially important words. It doesn't help that she's being vague. If there are specific issues, they can be solved. But if they are rather vague, then what's there to do? Ramen noodles are too greasy. This is a problem that can be solved. You could just get less greasy ramen. I don't know why, but I just don't like ramen. But what about this? How can you convince someone to eat ramen if this is their complaint? Actually, I just don't want ramen. That's basically it. As long as Maejima-san is who he is, it's impossible. That's what it means. Maejima-san knew this from the beginning. When she showed no reaction to his confession about the club, he was convinced that she has absolutely no interest in him anymore. She doesn't care if he continues to play tennis. That's why she showed no reaction. There's no use. However, even if he knows there's nothing else to do, he just has to do this. They both know that it's just him. The other party is simply thinking of him, and that's why she chose certain words to express her feelings. But that's not good enough for him. He dares to make her say it in a more direct way. Can you tell me more concretely? At what point did you start to feel that way? So is this what you mean? One after another, such cruel questions came out from Maejima-san's mouth. Of course, her response is prickly.
You assume everyone has a dark side just because you do. You pretend to think of other people, but really you're only thinking about yourself. You may be saying the right things in theory, but it's for the wrong reason. You change your mind on a whim, even about important things. Bottom line is, you don't have a heart.
He knows these are his flaws, but it sounds different hearing from someone else's mouth. She actually says quite a bit more, but for the sake of brevity, and to spare his feelings, no more needs to be written. Oh, I see. I understand. Seemed like she wanted to say more, but that was more than enough. Maejima-san is forced to accept the absolute truth without listening to the end. He shows a fake smile, but he can't hide his damage. The shock from his failed plan and also listening to his flaws have made him completely groggy. But, wasn't there some good stuff? He tried, but she is thinking really hard.
Aw, you're sweet, but...
She falls silent. Oh, that's okay. Sorry. Maejima-san withdraws his question, then takes a deep breath once and bows. Thank you very much for everything until now. His meek attitude slightly puzzles her.
Well, I want to thank you too.
They're both bowing down, sitting on their knees and putting their heads almost to the floor. They look like they just finished a shogi match. Well, everything is over. Maejima-san pulls out an envelope from the paper bag with the stuff she was taking home with her. The envelope contained a letter, which he wrote just in case this plan failed. He was hoping that she would read it when she got home, and somehow his last plea would change her mind. He thought that, even if they broke up after a heated discussion, if she read the letter after she calmed down, there might be a chance. Either way, he assumed things would be more emotional. But it didn't go that way at all. He hadn't expected this to happen. It'll be freaky to read such a letter after parting this way. She can't read this letter. Although Maejima-san is groggy, he doesn't forget to protect himself. He puts the letter, which he spent 3 hours working on, into his pocket. Fortunately, she doesn't notice. Well, I'll walk you to the station.
What, don't you want to eat together?
What? He really should decline the offer. Sure. At the place near the station? But he doesn't. He's too cowardly to do so. So, they go to the usual coffee shop. The conversation, the way they pay, everything is as usual. But they're breaking up. It doesn't feel real. Maybe it's not such a big deal to be going out. Maybe going out and breaking up aren't things to make a big fuss over. Their lunch is quite fun. Then she says,
I didn't sleep well last night.
Maybe she wasn't as calm about this as she pretended to be. Maejima-san feels a little happy. Were you a little nervous?
What? What about?
She looks confused. She seems not to understand. Maejima-san is disappointed. Maejima-san feels gloomy, so he decides to go shopping. He usually doesn't spend much money, but he feels like spending a lot today. His ex is going home. The shopping center is on the way to her house, so they get on the same train. There's one empty seat. His ex tells him to take the seat. He usually lets her take the seat, but he reminds himself that they've broken up, so he takes the seat. Then he realizes there are 2 empty seats in front of him. There's a seat over there. His ex takes the seat across from him. Maejima-san would move next to her, but they've broken up, so he stays where he is. She tilts her head, looking puzzled, while patting the empty seat next to her. Maejima-san asks if it's really okay, and she nods. He moves over.
Well, it's not like we're strangers.
The ex says so while smiling bitterly. You're right. Then, under his breath, I'm so hopeless. Why am I so frightened? Then they arrive at the station when they part. But there's no dramatic farewell. I never knew there was such a calm way to break up.
Really?
She's smiling. Yeah.
You're weird.
What? Really? Is Maejima-san the strange one? He doesn't know. All he knows is that this is farewell, perhaps forever. They go to different schools, they live far apart. There's no connection between them unless they go out. He feels this is an important moment, but she has no special feelings towards him anymore, so doing anything dramatic wouldn't be good. Maejima-san thinks about it for a little. You have to become happy. He strokes her hair as he says it. It seems appropriate. Maejima-san repeats it twice. Then it looks like he's getting teary-eyed. Oh no, this isn't good. There are a lot of people around. He's doing his best to stay calm, but her eyes are getting red and there's something sparkly in her eyes. So, she wasn't okay inside after all. No point in thinking about it. Have a nice new year. With those words, he turns and runs. That was close. He goes to the shopping center. With the new year getting closer, the shops had beautiful decorations waiting for the new year to arrive. That cheerful atmosphere hurts Maejima-san's heart. He doesn't feel like doing anything. He wants to go home, so he hops on the train. He comes home, and he feels rather calm. Then he reflects. Things sure didn't go well today. Maybe he tried to act too much. Maybe he should have acted more maturely. Maybe that would have made things a little better. But he doesn't think it was a complete loss. The way they parted, maybe she might call again. It's important not to make a move himself. As he thinks, he realizes how calm he's being. Is he sad because he lost the girl he truly loves? Or is it because things didn't go as planned? He can't figure it out. Maybe coming up with such questions prove that he is heartless. He doesn't think so himself, but I guess others see him that way. That's why he was dumped. The more he thinks about it, the more confused he gets. So even though it's only a little past lunchtime, he goes to bed. This human being is me, Shikunosuke Maejima. I will be narrating the story which is about to begin. I hope you'll stay with me until the end. The cold winter has ended, and the season has changed to spring. The new school year starts, and I'm now a grade higher. I hop on the bicycle and start to pedal towards the orange sun. The warm spring breeze makes the cherry blossom petals fly around, which get stuck between the creases on my jacket. When I pick them up and bring them closer to my nose, I can smell their sweet scent. How tasteful. I must be an elegant guy. When the new year started, I decided to travel abroad during the summer break. After I quit the club, I got a part-time job after school. When I started to make money myself, I realized there really isn't anything I wanted to buy. When I was going out on dates, I was using money for that, but once I broke up, I don't have any other way to spend my money. That's how I came up with the traveling abroad plan. I didn't have any special reason. I thought of it just because young people often go on these trips. I don't know where I want to go yet. The stylish European countries aren't really for me. But I also don't feel like vacationing in cheerful Hawaii. Besides, if I went to the US, I feel like I would be shot for no reason. I know it's prejudice based on wrong information, but I'd rather go where I want to go. Maybe India or Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia may not be safe, but I like the ethnic foods, such as curry. Even stupid Murakami said he liked places like that. If I ask him to come along, he might. How fun. The only thing that concerns me is that this sounds like a trip to find myself. People would think I'm going on an Indian trip because I'm heartbroken from breaking up with my girlfriend. I really don't mean to, but maybe that's what I want deep down. But if that's the case, I don't like it. Oh well. Whatever it is, having a goal makes everyday living more meaningful, that's for sure. If I stay at home doing nothing, I feel like I'm worthless. Maybe I am worthless, but I don't want to be like that. Maybe I am worthless, but I don't want to like that. It's not that crucial whether my existence has any meaning at this point. I don't want to waste my time while I'm young. How boring it would be just to turn old. I don't care what it is that I do. I don't care if I get dumped again. I want to find a girlfriend. As I think it over, I head to my part-time job. When the setting sun turns into a beautiful orange ball, I arrive at the Taisho restaurant where I work. Employees can't park their bicycles in the parking area, so although it's inconvenient, I have to take my bicycle around through the narrow alley to park it in the employees' parking area. I push my bicycle carefully as it doesn't scrape the concrete wall. When I get to the parking area, I see someone. There's a girl in a uniform standing there all alone.
Excuse me?
She speaks up in what's barely more than a mumble. Who knows where she gets her hair cut? Her hair is bunched up rather roughly, and the ends are flopping everywhere. Her dewy eyes are under her bangs, looking at me. What is she doing here? Her anxious appearance reminds me of a stray kitten trying to hide in a small, narrow, dark space. But that can't be. There must be a more decent reason. Although she looks immature, she is wearing an OB Academy's school uniform. That's where I go. I don't mean to brag, but it's a pretty decent school. It actually is popular in this area for being a good school. However, there are always some odd ones at every school. She's so nervous that she can't even find the words. She might be very shy, but the way she's acting is rather strange. What is it? I try to help her along. Then, as if it was a cue, the girl starts talking in a rush.
I'm starting today. My name is Kyori Shiano. It's nice to meet you.
As soon as she finishes her line, she bows deeply. Her short hair stands up because of gravity. I guess she isn't suspicious, but she sure is strange. Ah, okay. You're new. I see. Come to think of it, I guess the manager was saying something like that. Isn't there anyone inside? Am I the first one to get here?
Yes. There isn't anyone inside.
I see. I guess everyone else is late. The kitchen people should be here by now, getting things ready. But sometimes on weekdays, they're a little late. Today must be one of those days. Unless the kitchen people are here, the waitstaff can't get in. The only waitstaff that have the key are me and a few full-time people. But I'm one of the employees who has the key, so there's no problem. However, I haven't checked if she was, in fact, the new employee. I wonder if I should trust her, but I can't just leave her out here all by herself. Okay, please follow me. If you stand out here in the dark like this, people might call the police.
Okay.
After I park my bicycle, I open the back door with the key. Right by the back door is the space where we make drinks, which the employees call the back. Since it's before the opening, it's quiet, and the sound of the refrigerator motor echoes, which is a little spooky. I reach the light switch on the right wall and turn it on. There's one thing we have to be careful about. The moment after the lights are on, there are usually some slow cockroaches hiding. Girls often scream because of that. I, personally, am more scared of the screaming girls than the cockroaches. I look around to make sure there's nothing to frighten the girl, then let her in. She comes in rather fearfully. I lead her into the locker room. Though it's called that, it's actually a tiny storage room. I give her a jimbei, Japanese casual wear, with the restaurant's name on it, and tell her to change into it. Sorry it's a messy room. By the way, are you told that you need to wear pants instead of a skirt when you work?
Yes. No need to worry. I brought a pair.
She pulls out her pants from her bag as she answers me. Good. Then please change into them. Also, change your shoes too. The manager should be here soon. Then, let's see. Shino-san? You're a student at OB Academy, right?
Yes.
I thought OB didn't allow part-time jobs.
No. That's not so. It's okay. I'm allowed, so don't worry.
She waves her hand as she panics. Well, I didn't mean to accuse you or anything. It's just that maybe you shouldn't come to work in your uniform starting tomorrow. Maybe people won't notice normally, but if you come in your uniform, it might be different.
Okay.
She looks downcast. Don't worry, I go to OB too. I'm an accomplice.
Really?
Yeah, my name's Maejima. I'm in the 3rd grade. Pleased to meet you.
Yes, me too. I'm Kirari Shiano. I'm in class 3A. Very nice to meet you. I'll do my very best.
Then she bows deeply again. She lifts her head up quickly.
Anyway, the restaurant looks so fun. I like fun places.
She looks happy. She's definitely a little strange.
The same school and the same grade, huh? Then you'll be perfect.
With that, the manager assigns me as Kira Shino's caretaker. But our school has nothing to do with it. He always appoints me the caretaker of new employees. The thought is in my head, but I don't say anything.
Besides, you're good at teaching.
Since I kept silent, the manager tries to come up with an excuse. He must feel guilty. If he has to come up with excuses, then he should find someone else. But I don't mind teaching others, so I don't complain. So, as I work my shift, I teach her how to clean, how to make drinks, how to cut lemons and limes, and also how to take orders. How long she lasts at this job depends on how she's taught at the beginning, so I take it seriously. She takes notes with a cute pencil in her hand. I like such a diligent attitude. Usually when a new employee finds out a young guy like me is teaching, he gets overly friendly. That's the case especially with the girls. Time flies by quickly. Today is before payday, so we didn't have too many customers. We take a lunch break together. We go into the back room, which is hidden from the dining room, to eat our curry meals. Kurari must still be in work mode, because every time she hears customers or employees buzzing, she starts to get up. You better get some rest. The break is short.
Yeah.
Then Kurari faces her curry. When I see her pick up her spoon, I start to eat myself. The curry has chunks of beef. It has some authentic spices, just like the real Indian curry. But it's arranged to make sure it goes with white rice. The chef must have spent more than enough time on it than he should have for an employee's meal. Today isn't a good day, and that's exactly the kind of day when we can expect to get a good employee meal. Since the chef has plenty of time, he spends time fixing the employee's meal. When I peek into the kitchen, Yoshizumi-san is looking at me with a grin. I know for a fact that sometimes he places an order to get some ingredients, which he doesn't need for the menu. Some time ago, I had to listen to him talk about how he couldn't serve the customer good meals if he couldn't eat a good meal himself. It sounded good, but at the same time, it also sounded like he was coming up with excuses for eating better things than the customers. Anyway, today's curry is delicious, and I finish mine quickly. Kurari must not like spicy foods. She's puffing while she eats. So, how is your first day going so far? She puts her spoon down.
I'm so touched.
Touched? That's an unexpected word.
You know, every time I start a part-time job, I always get scolded. This is the first time I got taught so kindly.
As she speaks, she starts to get teary-eyed. Really?
Yeah.
I know I'm being polite, but I'm not doing anything that special. For her to be so delighted, what kind of jobs has she had in the past? I see. Oh, by the way, you don't have to use the polite manner when you talk to me. We're the same age, after all.
Yes, oh, sure, okay.
Then she takes a drink.
But I'm so happy. You know, I'm so comfy compared to other people. I already broke so many glasses today.
Kurari's shoulders sag a little. That's how it is at the beginning.
But even the manager was laughing, saying he's never seen it this bad.
Well, you did break quite a bit. You had to throw away a whole box worth of glasses, just during the first half of her shift. The moment where she flipped a tray full of clean glasses was really bad. If it wasn't for that, you're just a little more clumsy than normal, I think. As I say so, I realize I'm not helping the situation.
Thank you for everything today. I'm so happy you're so kind. I'm sure I'll be fired today.
I don't think so. If she had broken a box worth of glasses one by one, then I'm sure she'd get fired. But that isn't the case.
But if I continue, you'll lose more than you make.
It's true that she makes a lot of mistakes, but that'll get better. As long as you keep trying, I think you'll be okay. You're cheerful and diligent, so I think you'll learn quickly. I think you're better at customer service than I am. When I told my family that I'd be working customer service, everyone said, "That's not you. You shouldn't even try." Actually, I thought so myself, but I was mortified to hear that from my own family. So I made myself work hard. I think it's a special talent to be able to have a smile on your face all the time. You have that talent, Shino-san.
Really? But I'm not cheerful. I'm so gloomy. I always think about gloomy things.
Kurari is desperately denying it. I was just being honest, but I guess she took it as flattery. Well, anyway, I don't think you'll be fired on your first day. You said the manager was laughing, but he isn't like that. When I made a mistake, all he said was, "Are you sure you want to work?" The manager loves sarcasm. Come to think of it, maybe the reason why I don't mind training the new employees is because when I was taught by the manager, I was so depressed. But now, I get to even keep the key to the restaurant. I guess putting in an effort sure is worth it. Of course, there are things effort can't overcome. So, I can't force anyone to put in an effort. Indeed, even after I put in an effort, I was dumped.
Dump?
Nope, never mind. I changed the subject in a hurry. Come on, you better finish the rest. You won't last the rest of the evening without a meal.
Maejima, you're so sweet.
She takes a bite with a smile.
This is spicy but delicious.
She smiles at me with a sweaty face.
Today was a slow day. Even toward the end of the evening, there weren't any customers. So, Kurari and I were let go at 9 o'clock. Others usually complain about the sudden schedule change, saying, "I made time for this." But I don't mind. Actually, I'm happy for getting a little extra time before I have to go to bed. I walk home with Kurari Shino. It seems that, for about half the way, she goes the same way I do. The basket on her bicycle has her bag, full of her school stuff. Today was a half day at school, so she must have gone to a club or something.
So, which club do you belong to, Maejima-kun?
As I think about asking, she asks first. After Kurari changed into her school uniform, she didn't show a sign of fatigue from the first day of work. She is full of smiles. Now that work is over, she speaks more smoothly and friendlier.
Oh, I go to the Actually, no, I don't.
I'm used to saying that, but I correct myself and say,
The second literature club.
What?
Kurari stops in surprise.
I belong to the second literature club too.
Oh, I see.
But I've never seen you before, Maejima-kun.
Kurari apologizes, but I should be the one feeling that way. When I quit the tennis club last fall, I just couldn't go home early every day. OB Academy has a rule for every student to join a club, just like a junior high school. So I had to find a new club to join. I couldn't decide, so when one of my friends invited me at the end of the year, I joined the second literature club.
I meant to introduce myself, but things were a little busy. I didn't mean to be a ghost member.
When athletes drop out from sports clubs, they usually transfer to less active literature clubs and become ghost members. The second literature club was one of the perfect clubs to do that with.
I see. We belong to the same club.
Kurari starts to walk again. Seeing her stooping down, I know she's thinking of words to say, so I walk slower to match with her steps.
Well, then since we are in the same club, can I ask you something?
Kurari starts to speak slowly.
We don't know what to do for the cultural festival.
The cultural festival?
Yeah, that's right. Even today we were talking about what we should do.
You're already thinking about that? You sure are acting diligently.
Kurari stops, apparently lost in thought. I stop too. She sure keeps her own pace. Kurari looks into my eyes.
The second literature club is shutting down at the end of this year.
No, this is the first time I heard that.
It's going to be merged with the other literature club.
I see. That's surprising. Actually, it isn't. I'm just being nice. Such minor clubs like a literature club shouldn't have two divisions in the first place. The first literature club is more active, holding exhibitions for poetry and original novels. But, on the other hand, the second literature club is for more quiet members, and therefore, there's hardly any activity. And that's the main reason why it's so popular among ghost members. My friend who belongs to the club was frustrated about this. So even at the cultural festival, the two are very different in what they do. The first one is very active and does things like stage original plays, and even competes with the acting club. It is rather a huge event at the cultural festival. However, the second one is usually just a display of book reports. This is simply the information I got from my friend. Actually, I didn't even know the second literature club participated at the cultural festival. I don't think it's just me. Most of the OB students feel that way. I'm sure you'll understand what I mean when I tell you that the most successful outcome for the second literature club in the past 10 years was an essay written by one of the alumni titled Shunkaku Eido's Opinion on Religious Unconsciousness Among the Japanese Citizens. My friend said,
"It's a masterpiece."
She praised it, but where can you find a young person who would be interested in something like that? In fact, the club is so boring it gives boredom a bad rep. However, Karari Shino doesn't want it to disappear. Oh, I guess she can't help it because she belongs to it.
So this is our last cultural festival, so we gotta make it memorable. Otherwise, it's almost like we never existed. I don't want that.
Yeah, you're right. As a ghost member, I'm a little hesitant to agree strongly, so I don't know what else to say.
So, Maejima-kun,
Yeah?
if you don't mind,
Yeah?
if you don't mind, please come to a club meeting. Only if you have time. The more the merrier. Whatever we try to plan, we just don't have the people.
But I'm a ghost member.
That's okay.
I don't know what's okay about it. I nod, or rather, I'm forced to nod. Then we both start to walk again. When we get to the point where we part, I take her bag from the basket.
Thank you.
She bows. Don't mention it. If it's not too far, do you want me to walk you home?
No, that's okay.
But it's dark.
It's fine. I live right over there.
Karari smiles and waves, then runs off. I see. So it'll disappear. As I pedal, I mutter to myself. I haven't even attended one meeting, so I shouldn't be sad about it. However, it is rather sad that it's going to disappear. She said she wants me to help at the last cultural festival. I'm not busy at all, and actually, I'm a little interested in doing something at the cultural festival. I've always belonged to sports clubs, so I've never done anything there before. The only thing is... The problem is... Chiene. I heave a sigh.